As a rain flows upon him, I realized there had to be another way. A new holiday was born. A Festivus for the rest of us. Festivus is back! I'll get the pole out of the crawl space.
Is that the pole?
George, Festivus is your heritage. It's part of who you are.
That's why I hate it.
Tell them all the ways they have disappointed you over the past year. The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Another Festivus miracle.
And now, as Festivus rolls on, we come to the feats of strength. I find tinsel distracting.
Hello, Falafel, and happy Festivus to you all. That's right, we are finally here. We are finally at the Falafel Festivus episode, and much like the Costanzas, I got to tell you, Festivus is part of our heritage now, and I don't think there's any way we can avoid it. So it's come to be a favorite part of the year for me. I know that. Steve, I'm sure you agree. Sal, I'm sure you can't deny the fact that Festivus spirit is in the air.
Yeah, I mean, I like to pretty much air grievances constantly, so the holiday that's dedicated to it is right up my alley.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. For someone who complains most of the time and gets ridiculed because of that, this is the time that I finally feel that my behavior is acceptable.
Well, your behavior is not really ever acceptable, but we will tolerate it a little bit more during the Festivus season for sure. I will tell you that this is a good one for me too, because going through podcasting in a bathroom for the last 2 months, I've had a lot of things built up. So I'm ready to hear some people rant and express some anger. We have a lot of grievances that we're going to get to. But before we get to those, I just want to say I'm a little disappointed in this Festivus season for one reason and one reason only. We have yet to be able to find someone to just maul Steve as part of the feats of strength. I've mentioned it several times throughout the year.
That shouldn't be
yet
difficult.
No one has stepped up.
I don't think it's that we can't find someone who could do it. We could pretty much pick any child off the street. It's that most people they feel bad for Steve, so they've decided to pass.
I feel like we should have gotten Tucker in on it, right? Shouldn't Tucker just do it? I mean, he's in the house anyway.
I'm not allowed to talk about that. So
the caseworker says no.
Apparently, there's litigation.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right. So, Steve, as we get into the Falafel Festivus episode, I'm curious, what does Festivus mean to you?
Like I said, it's a very important time because it's when everybody starts to act a lot like myself, where you're just complaining a lot about the woes of your fantasy football season. So I like that it also has brought us all together, I don't feel like we've done a lot of podcasts together this year as the season's gone on. And look, Festivus has brought us all together. So I'm thankful for that.
It sort of brought us together. I mean, we still have Sal from the car waiting for his kids to be done. So there's, he's still somewhat big timing us, but he at least made, a couple of hours available. So.
Wait a second, taking your children to volleyball is big timing you?
Well, it's,
It's like being good father or something.
By the way, I'm flipping the page here, and the current days of consecutive streak for me is at 3, and Steve is at 1, and Kevin is at 2. So,
man,
leader in the clubhouse.
Wow.
We'll see you next year.
Nice. And so, Kevin, we got a lot of entries. We got a lot of entries from good friends, some fantasy players, and we got some great entries from people in the fantasy industry as well who wanted to add their grievances. And we just want to absolutely thank everybody, because a show like this doesn't work unless we have entries from you guys at home.
That's absolutely correct. We appreciate everyone that submitted one, everyone that submitted them and didn't make the cut. We apologize, but your takes are terrible. I'm just kidding. We didn't cut anyone. We wouldn't do that during Festivus. But this has been great. There's a lot of good stuff in here tonight, and we are very thankful that so many people have grievances during the fantasy football season. It's not surprising. I mean, a lot of us play, and a lot of these people play in leagues with us, or have done various fantasy cares competitions or things of that nature, and we've seen it all go down poorly for a number of months now. So there's a lot of built-up hostility.
Yeah, fantasy football and grievances appear to go hand in hand quite nicely. So I'm going to kick it off here. So one of the things we asked was that you send in a clip, approximately 60 seconds. Just a quick rant. And overwhelmingly we got clips that were longer than 60 seconds this year. But probably none more than this gentleman here. This is John Bosch, who is, I can't even tell what podcast he's on anymore, but I believe Dynasty Game Night currently. And he's also on the Dynasty Happy Hour as well. And John submitted this. John, here is his entry.
Hi, this is John Bosch from the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast and Dynasty Game Night. I am so happy to get to join you to share some grievances. I'm going to start out with owners who will not add Voxer. It's not that hard. I hear complaints, I'm already in too many different chat apps. Okay, good. Add one more. Don't care. It's not that hard to add another app. Takes a second to add it. Makes your experience better with the league. Don't be that owner that just doesn't participate in a league chat because you're too lazy to add an app. That's pathetic. Commissioners, you're not getting off the hook either. Commissioners out there that still have leagues with trade vetoes, that's ridiculous. People who vote on vetoes don't vote to prove collusion. People vote to try and prevent some other team from getting better. That's idiotic. Just remove that from your league immediately.
All right, I could tell John's going to be rambling on for a while. We might want to get on to somebody else, and we'll check back in on John periodically and see if he's still talking.
It's clear he's got a lot going on there. We might as well get to someone else then that has a lot to say normally, but did actually keep this one pretty quick. Our good friends from the Bull Rush obviously sent something in, and last year I think one of the highlights of the Festivus episode was Dynasty Frank's rant. He's one of the better ranters out there. Certainly has a lot of anger. I don't know if it's a New York thing, Sal. Clearly, you guys are very pissed off on a regular basis. I would imagine it has to do with the density of people in the city and the fact that you can't move without grazing against people, or maybe it's the smell of garbage. I'm not sure. But,
it doesn't get any easier to move around in the holiday season in New York, which, by the way, people seem to pass on the problem of that smelly garbage, as you put it, and flock to the city this time of year.
Right. So, but this time around, we got the entire Bull Rush crew to sort of join in. Although I'm sure you can guess who dominates this rant.
Hey, falafel fellas, the FLAFFL. I like the word falafel. It's good too.
Yeah, it's good.
But we're in a community, and thanks to this community of great people with fantasy cares, right? And they help out. We band together and we help each other out, and that's a great part of this community. What's bad? Well, one of the negative things about this community is that there are a lot of stick-to-sports jerk-offs out there. Now, fantasy football is a part of our life. I get it, but there are other things that are part of our lives. So they stick to sports, stick to fantasy. I mean, how many times can we talk about Aaron Rodgers or injuries or Deshaun Watson or whether or not Eli Manning is a freaking Hall of Famer? He is. How many times are we going to do this? So sticking to sports, especially when there's serious stuff going on, like the net neutrality, hashtag net neutrality, and the tax plan or whatever. I get it. Politics sucks, but you got to give people got to realize that Twitter is a release to some people like myself, and we need to vent. We need to rant. So that is my Festivus grievance, that people need to stick to sports jerk-offs out there. Just relax, okay? It'll go by. I mean, there's plenty of fantasy football to go around. Plenty of I don't know. Pick two players to argue about. There's plenty of that to go around. We can, every once in a while, take time off and appreciate the fantasy cares. I mean, Scott even lost players, even lost followers because he was tweeting about fantasy cares.
I was just going to inject that day that I kept posting all those pictures, and like I probably had 15, 20 tweets about fantasy cares, giving toys to kids, shopping for kids.
Too much. Stick to sports, Scott.
I lost 10 followers. And even one of them had stick to sports in his bio.
Unbelievable.
One of the 10 I lost.
Like, you're a jerk off, okay? If you're unfollowing people, especially people for retweeting charity that are helping kids, you're a jerk off. Just plain and simple, period. And that's that. That's my rant.
Yeah, my rant is going to be about Ryan laughing off Mike. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that was perfect. That was a beautiful, beautiful face. Oh, man, that was awesome. No, I don't really have a rant, but there's Frank's grievance. Ryan's grievance is probably just being annoyed with me.
Pretty much, that's it.
And my grievance is just in agreement with Frank, the stick to sports thing, man. I usually stick to sports, but I do a lot of charity talk. And when that's too much for people, that's crazy. So
right.
All right, we'll let you go. Thanks, FLAFFL, for letting us or at least Frank, be a part of your Festivus episode once again.
Thanks, fellas.
Well, I thought you said they kept it short.
Yeah, well, it's short-ish. Listen, I got to tell you, if you unfollow Scott for posting pictures of charity donations, that's ballsy.
Awful. It's terrible.
I think that was probably people who are big pickle fans out there that are annoyed with Scott's onslaught constantly of the pickle-loving community.
Listen, if you want to unfollow Scott for food takes, I get you. The guy doesn't put ketchup or mustard on hot dogs. He doesn't like pickles. I get it. I'm with him on the pickles thing, by the way. But if you want to unfollow him for that, fine. But unfollowing for charity donations, that's tough. And I'm with him. Although I will say this, there's been many times this year that I have thought to say to Steve, stick to sports, because I got to tell you, his political takes before we record, sometimes I can't handle it.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. And I appreciate you shutting up and not saying a damn word about it.
That's right. Oh, man. Speaking of political aspects, not that this guy is political at all, but it incites rage in people just about as much as anything else. Roger Goodell is a guy that is so polarizing. Actually, it's not even polarizing because I think everyone hates him equally. But our good friend Kareem, KS44 on the Fantasy Life app, one of our original friends from FLAFFL, he sent in a clip this year. It's basically just an open letter to his good friend, Roger Goodell. Now, listen, obviously last year I ranted a little bit about Roger Goodell because of the Brady issues, and I think Kareem might have a similar take this year.
Hello, FLAFFL. Man, I've heard that somewhere before. I could have swore. Was it? Anyways, hello everybody out there. Happy Festivus, and my grievance this year is going to be an open letter to Roger Goodell. And here it goes. What can I say about you, Roger, that hasn't already been said? You're a gutless, no-balls having piece of that derailed many fantasy seasons with your suspension to Zeke. Roger, you are quite possibly the lowest form of human existence. Your salary reflects $1 for each bad decision you made. I'd rather stick my hand in a blender than ever shake yours. I'd rather bear hug a cactus than hug you at all. Meeting the devil would be much more appealing than meeting you, period. Saying that you are a bad commissioner is actually a compliment. I would tell you to get your together, but we both know that isn't possible. I'm saying this in the nicest way I can. You, Roger, from all of us in the fantasy world. Never ever yours, KS44.
Kareem bringing the fire. For those of us who are in chats with Kareem, we know that every single post that he puts has at least one word misspelled. So I'm really proud of him for getting through that entire rant and getting every word correct. So good job, buddy.
And
apparently he can speak better than he types.
What you also know is that Kareem is like one of the more positive people that you will ever meet, no matter what situation is going on, and he is always going to have your back. So for him to, spit that much hate against Roger Goodell. It speaks to the feelings that he has deep down for him.
I agree, although, Steve, I will say this. It's pretty clear that he has Sal's back. I'm not so sure.
That can never be debated.
That is my buddy. That is my good friend, Kareem. We'll be friends to the end. The guy, we have never met in person, but we talk a lot, and he referred to me as one of his best friends in the world, and that is actually quite touching, my friend. So, love you, buddy.
By far, one of the favorite people that we've met throughout our time with FLAFFL so far. He's a great guy. Always one of the first people to listen to the podcast, and I echo your sentiments on Roger Goodell, Kareem. So happy Festivus to you, buddy. We'll see you in the chat. All right, let's bring in a celebrity. We got a guy from the fantasy footballers.
What are you trying to say about John Bosch and Scott and Frank and Kareem?
Thanks for pointing it out like that.
Hey,
if
no
you
problem.
could have just let it slide, it
Nah.
would have been fine.
No thanks.
Now that stocking ended up right in Steve's face. I mean, in Kevin's mouth.
Andy Holloway is a guy from the Fantasy Footballers, a show that I think all three of us listen to on a fairly regular basis. Those guys are great. They have a good time. It's great fantasy analysis, and they keep it entertaining. Mike Wright, the Hitman's been on this show before. He was a great guest. I think that so we reached out to them to see if they wanted to rant a little bit, and Andy had a gripe that I think we can all buy into this year.
All right, this Festivus, I've got a grievance I want to air. This is Andy Holloway from the Fantasy Footballers podcast, and I'm telling you right now, my grievance has to do with all of these injuries and what could have been in this fantasy football season, and yet what we did not get. It started with David Johnson. The injury to start the year, you've got Dalvin Cook and Aaron Rodgers, Darren Sproles, Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham Jr., Carson Wentz, Julian Edelman. Come on, guys. Deshaun Watson, Spencer Ware, Sam Bradford, Carson Palmer, Brandon Marshall, Ryan Tannehill, Andrew Luck. Look, I want to enjoy playing fantasy football, and I'm going to tell you right now, I do not enjoy fantasy football when players are falling down and not coming back, not getting back up. And so that is my great grievance to this NFL. We've got to find a way to keep these players healthy. It's better for the league. It's better for the TV ratings. It's better for the fantasy football players because you can do everything right each and every week, but there is nothing that can prepare you for a broken collarbone in quarter one for your star quarterback. And you have to you have to go on. You have to react. You have to figure things out. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. And so I want these players back on the field. I want to see them healthy. I want to see them living up to their potential. I want the things we talk about during the draft season, all the projections, I want them to be relevant. And so next year I'm calling for a great year of health for the fantasy football players. This is Andy Holloway of the Fantasy Footballers. Have a very merry Festivus.
Well, I got a grievance. That guy's good at what he does and pisses me off.
Yeah, he's a lot better than us, huh?
Without a doubt.
We've been doing it for like 2 years, and we still aren't really getting that good over here.
No, we're not getting any better, and they seem to improve regularly. He's absolutely correct, though. I'll tell you, it's obviously something that we all deal with in fantasy football. The injuries to your team. I don't know that there's only one team that I know of. No, I'm sorry, 2 teams of mine that were fully derailed, and they were David Johnson teams. But one team I had David Johnson and Andrew Luck and several others that got hurt. So, but Steve, I'm sure you dealt with injuries this year. I have to imagine.
Yeah,
given your luck,
all the time. I don't even want to talk about it.
Commissioner,
guys, he started up again. This John Bosch is better.
Or form a freaking committee to vote on it. That's just as dumb. Trades are trades and made for a reason. If you think there's collusion, kick the owners out. That's not that hard. Do not settle for collusion. Kick them out. But there's no reason they have trade vetoes as a way to determine that. If you have a committee, that's even worse. Especially if you have a committee of active owners, even though one guy hasn't played fantasy football in a year. Leave our girl Julie alone. She's a fantastic owner, and you're a dope. Absolute dope. for trying to veto a trade where she's improving her team. Oh, well, it makes the league imbalanced this year. Yeah, tough. Tell the owners to get better. She's a good owner. Thank God she's not in your leagues anymore. If anybody's in a league with a commissioner like that, you should just play this for him. He's a dope. No trade vetoes. No trade committees. Trades are what Dynasty is about. It is how you build your team. Let's move on.
Well, I think for those of us who may have been in a specific chat with John this year, we know what he's referring to, and that's our good friend Julie from the Capitalist Pigs 2 League. And so if that commissioner listens, or that guy who runs the commissioner site listens to this podcast, he's being called out. But something tells me John's going to be back a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got a lot more to go on, and I'll tell you.
He tried to. John, calm down, John. I'll give you a chance. Calm down.
I'll tell you, one thing about Julie, too, if that guy is listening, he should stop listening. That's one listener I'm okay not having. That trade was
take it easy.
I don't
need
know
the numbers.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. I'll tell you what, though, I don't remember all the specifics of the deal, but I do know that she tried to add Andrew Luck and Odell Beckham Jr. to her roster mid-season because it's a dynasty league, and he felt that the players that she was trading away, which, by the way, did not equal those two players in any way, shape, or form, would have were too imbalanced. So, I'm totally with Bosch on that one. Although the ranting here for him seems to be going a little long.
Yeah, that's what John does. Yeah. Overstays is welcome.
All right, well let's go. Let's keep moving along then. Let's plug away here. Last year, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but we had a Canadian actually in studio with us, or at least on the air with us.
We did.
It went horribly wrong because Jay, while a very nice man and someone that we appreciate as a friend, is not really very. He doesn't pay attention, I guess, is the way that I'll say. So this year we went to a clip from a Canadian, and it's one of our good friends, Derek McCreath, over from the Gut Feels podcast. You can find on our FLAFFL feed. So great guy, and he's I'm curious because Canadians don't really get that worked up. Maybe they seem to be very nice individuals. So let's see what he has to say.
Hi everyone, Derek here from the Gut Feels Pod, and I'm here to air some grievances from this season. I mean, overall, I really don't have anything to complain about until this week. Going into the semifinals, I'm the highest scoring team. I won the regular season. I got a great roster. Everybody says start your studs, so I throw out Doug Baldwin, Antonio Brown, AJ Green, and Demarius Thomas. And what do those guys get me? 13.6 points. That's all they could put muster. 13.6 points. All right, I get it. Antonio Brown tore his calf, so maybe he gets a pass. But the rest of you guys, come on. 13.6 points. Now I'm going to lose. Have to go to the third place game. What is this? Start your studs in the playoffs, everybody. Well, my studs did not come through here. Oh, man. Grievances. There they are. Come on. Happy Festivus, everyone.
I think that's about as angry as they can get.
Yeah, that's the max right there. He even swore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I got a little terrified there.
Yeah, you feel like you can fear Canadians now, or well, the problem is he probably felt terrible and apologized to everyone after he did that. So
yeah, that was terrifying. That was flat out terrifying.
You sound very, very afraid, Sal. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we know you're in a car by yourself, so if you need to, turn some lights on or feel better, yeah, it's okay. Take some time by yourself.
This sounds like it's turning into a Bull Rush Halloween podcast now.
That's right. Listen, I will tell you though, the semifinals got a lot of people worked up, and myself included. I'm sure you guys had your semifinal struggles as well. But this past weekend really burnt a lot of people, and we got a submission from the guys over at the Fantasy Tilt podcast, and Sal, you know these guys pretty well, right?
Yeah, I've gotten to know them. They were a part of the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast network with us for a little while, and they're starting to branch out. I think they still go under the banner, but I reached out to them because their entire show the concept is getting tilted and ranting, and who better to have a clip from than guys who make a living at it.
I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, if that's what they're going to do, we might as well hear from them. I got a feeling it's going to be a little more on the angry side than the Canadian, but we'll take a listen and see.
Hey guys, this is Keaton and Nate from the Fantasy Tilt podcast. We are very happy to be celebrating Festivus with Falafel House. As you may know, bitching about stuff is about 80% of what we do at Fantasy Tilt. So, this new holiday of yours really is scratching us where we itch. So, Nate, what's your grievance?
Oh, man, Keaton, I'll tell you, this season, there's a ton of things that we could be tilted on, which is what our podcast is about, is, experiencing or expressing your tilts. But for me, I'm gonna keep it just to this past week because it took me out of the possibility of getting into the championship in the J Grizz Invitational Expert League. So my opponent, his entire roster put up a bunch of 0 points, 0.4, 1.2, 8.2, a bunch of under 10. He just happened to have Kareem Hunt, who got him 36.1 points, and Todd Gurley, who got him 43.5, 80 points between the two. So I knew that was already going to be something to overcome. I then proceed. My team does very well. Everybody does unbelievable. And I have 122 points going into Sunday Night Football. And I had Dak Prescott, and his team was done. So I just needed about 19 points out of Dak. That's not asking for too much, okay? And, of course, I'm down by 5, and it's the last 2 minutes of the game, and the Cowboys are on the 1-yard line, and they hand it off to Alfred Morris 2 times in a row, and he goes nowhere, and they kick a field goal, and they end up winning 20-17. So had Dak just rushed it in or threw the ball on a 3rd down to get the touchdown, I would have won by 1 point. But instead, I score 136 points, and that's just not enough, of course. And the other match heading into the championship week, they both scored under 100. So very frustrating to go up against the only opponent that would beat you, but that was just my entire season in that league, unfortunately. How about you, Keaton?
Yeah, and while it's still fresh, my grievance is going to be from week 15 as well. I had one of those leagues, my home Dynasty League. I just had a magical season. Didn't have any of the injuries. No players missed significant time or anything like that. It all came down to Monday Night Football, and I had Devonta Freeman. And that bum couldn't be bothered to take the ball with him into the end zone. And I lose by 2 points because he fumbles on the goal line. And I just want Devonta Freeman to hear about it. My grievance for Festivus is just, man, dude, show us some feats of strength and get that ball into the end zone. Just killing me there. So that's going to do it for our grievances from the Fantasy Tilt. My name is Keaton Denley. That was Nate Hamilton. Happy Festivus, and thanks for having us on.
Thanks, guys.
Oh man, thanks to Keaton and Nate for getting that in. That's tough. I don't know, Sal. I know obviously we didn't talk about it this year. Last year we kind of went through the falafel, all the various leagues and what was going on with them, and we didn't do that off the top of the show this year because we're in a little bit of a tighter schedule. But I know you're in the championship. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Cool.
You're playing. You're playing our good friend Corey, another good falafel friend, and congrats to him as well. And do you know who scored the 3rd most points in the league behind you two?
I know he's not in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I know it's you because it's the only reason you're talking about it.
Yeah, it's the only reason I'm talking about it. Very irritating. So I'm with Keaton there, or Nate. I forget which one of them said it, but yeah, it sucks when you score a lot of points and don't win. So I can understand what they're going through.
Yeah, and I want to let Keaton know that Devonta Freeman will hear this because he is a fan of the show. He is hot garbage as he's become to be beloved on the Falafel podcast and in the chat. He lives in falafel lore forever. And he's a huge fan of the show, and that almost cost me as well. I ended up winning one matchup by 1 point this week to get into the finals. And if if that would have cost me, that would have been heartbreaking. I would have been right there with him.
Yeah, well, good luck to you in your championship matchup with Hot Garbage. I think he officially changed his name to that, right? Is that correct? Do we confirm that?
Yeah, it does say garbage on the back of his jersey now, which you can buy now. Probably still get it with the 48-hour delivery before the holiday.
Excellent. All right. There's a good friend of ours that's coming up next, and I gotta be honest with you. I'm a little disappointed with his efforts this year.
Oh boy,
I'm not 100% certain how he's landed in the or where he is in the FLAFFL standings in his own league. I believe he's an embryo member, if I am correct.
Yes,
Steve?
that is correct.
Yes.
Which is basically like you're at the bottom of the pond. It's
That's right. That's the third rung, and I thought at one point he was facing relegation from the league completely.
Early on, but he fought his way out of that. Barely missed out on the playoffs, but he was safe.
All right. Well, I'm disappointed with him because he really, he was too busy this year, much like Sal, to be a part of our chat, and he usually brings some good fire to the chat. He's got a lot of good takes. He likes to mess with Steve. A lot of good things come out of our good friend Dark Peachy. And so Elliot Anderson, I'm hoping that this will bring it all back for me and remind me of the good things that you have to contribute to our group.
It's Falafel Festivus time once again, and it couldn't come soon enough because I got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about it. You, DJ, have you ever heard the expression, milk does a body good? You might want to try it. And when you're done, pass a cup to A-Rod. And when he's done, maybe he can pass a cup to Greg Olson. Jim Irsay, try putting the hooch down for 5 minutes and be honest with the public. You know it's not so easy a caveman could do it? Heal from shoulder surgery. A.B., my man, you couldn't give me one more game? One more freaking game? Now I'm without you in the championship. I guess I've gone through worse, but it ain't going to be easy. Jason Garrett and Dak Prescott. It's called an adjustment. You might want to try and make one every once in a while and not half of your season away because you decided you can't win without Zeke. Mike Cave, this might come to a surprise, but I needed you. I needed you during my embryo debacle, but you weren't there. All you wanted to do was point fingers and laugh at me. I guess I should have expected it. You know I love you, but I really needed you. And finally, a Festivus miracle. I would like to thank Big Bill and the Pats organization for handing us the key to a franchise quarterback. This Niner fan is thankful, and it's this season for giving, so I'm thankful for you, Patriots. Now I'm not happy. Hope you guys all have a great holiday. Dark Lord out.
That is great.
I felt like Elliot saw the light halfway. He's like, felt the light. Praise.
You could feel the weight being lifted off of his chest as he.
I believe.
Well, listen, as a 49er fan, getting Jimmy Garoppolo, I figure that's probably what it feels like. So yeah, good for him. A little awkward that he chose to.
He called out Mike.
Share his love with Mike. Right on air. That's a little awkward. And he did throw in a so easy a caveman could do it reference, which I haven't heard in like 5 years. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we made a few stones and shekels out of that. That was nice. And, oh God, he's jumped down a points.
That is ridiculous. Come on, people. We all know that there is random luck involved in a schedule. There's no way anybody has control over that. If you get outscored, sure, you should lose the game. But if you're outscoring the majority of your potential opponents, you should get something for that. You should have a spot in the playoffs if you're the highest scoring team. Too many times I've seen, I'm the high scorer and I'm not getting in because I don't have a good record. Well, that's ridiculous. Commissioners, fix that. Speaking of commissioners, let's move on to Mr. Scott Fish.
Oh.
Yes, grievance against Mr. SFB, Mr. Fantasy Cares, Mr. Toys for Tots. Look at what he's done. He's gone and created a couple of leagues, Pigs and Pigs 2, that are just out there ruining other leagues. How dare he make these other leagues seem so boring that they're just not even playable anymore? Scott, that's cruel, going out there and being so creative and having such active owners in your leagues. I can't believe you. Where do you get off ruining so many leagues for so many people? Jeez, come on, Scott Fish. Oh, I only have a minute to do this? Oh, I'm sorry. Is that important? Are rules important, like on a podcast? Sorry, I don't believe in rules from a podcast where the host is podcasting from a toilet. I think I'll take as long as I want. If I want to take 10 minutes, I'll sit here and gripe for 10 minutes and let poor editor Steve edit it. Hopefully he makes sure that comment about the podcasting from a toilet slides in. We'll move on to...
Well, I mean, John's starting to get feisty. It took a little time to build it up. He called out Scott Fish and Bathroom Kevin, as he's affectionately known on Twitter. And, I but we'll move on to somebody else. But I got a feeling John will be rearing his ugly head again.
Yeah, I mean, he was really just starting to get going. And now I'm kind of curious. He's starting to spit some fire.
It's coming after you, Kevin. Coming after you.
I guess. Listen, if you can attack, if I'm being attacked by the same person attacking Scott Fish, I feel like I'm in good quality then. So I'll take it.
That's true.
Listen, Sal, this next one, I think actually this kind of goes out to you because this next rant came in from a person who we all know and love and who's been on the show as well, a good another celebrity within the industry, and she's about to call out a guy that you called out last year's. Sal.
Oh, this should be good.
Last year, you had some problems with Mr. Doug Peterson. And I believe it was for the same reason this year. But this is Liz Loza, and she's got a direct. She's sending some Festivus wishes directly to Mr. Doug Peterson, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Dear Doug Peterson, you're busy. I get it. So I thought it might be helpful if I provided you with just a few nuggets about your most explosive player. You know, the one with the bad knee? Oh, no, not that one. The other one, the one that you traded for on Halloween, which, between you and me, put a real wrench in my whole super mom shtick, because preschool costume parade, trick-or-treating, baby's first Halloween. Let's just say I hadn't budgeted for 2 extra videos, an article, and 3 radio spots. But hey, these things happen. And I totally understand why you would give up a 4th-round pick for a running back as dynamic as Jay Ajayi. I mean, the British accent, very charming. But the burst, that is where the wow is at. In fact, did you know that Jay Ajayi is averaging nearly 4 evaded tackles per game? Or that he has 10 breakaway runs, that's runs over 15 yards on the season, which actually ranks him among the top 7 players at the position for that statistical category? Also, did you know that since week 9, your should-be stud running back has averaged more fantasy points per touch than Le'Veon Bell and Shady McCoy? It's crazy, right? I get that this whole 3-headed Hydra thing is working for you, but the centerpiece of your offense is donezo until next fall, maybe winter. And while I do not want to rub any salt in the wound, it would make sense if you gave Jay Ajayi the goddamn ball. After all, you've cratered my fantasy teams by keeping his legs fresh until now, so the least you could do is make him a usable value in DFS. Sincerely, Liz Loza. Oh, and Merry freaking Christmas!
Well, I got it. I mean, to Liz's husband, just be careful, man. I am worried for you. And Kevin, yeah, wow. So, Liz, if you're listening back and you're hearing this, I went off. It was an episode that Steve was not on last year. It was just Kevin and myself. And I ended the show with a rant to Doug Peterson because he does not use running backs in a fantasy kind way. He's done it again this year. And Liz, I mean, not only did she deliver that, and we all know that Liz's background is as an actress, and she delivered that like an Academy Award winner, but she filled it with excellent points and statistics and everything that made sense. And you know what's going to happen this week? Corey Clement is probably going to be the number 1 running back in Philadelphia. So screw you, Doug Peterson.
I knew you would get on board with this one. I absolutely knew that it was one that you would love. We all agree with her. Doug Peterson just hates fantasy football players more than the other Shanahan did back in the day.
Shanahan.
So,
look, Kenyon Barner's here.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Definitely good stuff from Liz Loza. Thank you to her for doing that. We are going to get to the second part of the Gut Feelings podcast team. Jason Tran sent in one, and I got to tell you, by far, guys, this is one of my favorite ones. I can't wait to hear it again. I listened to it. I got a preview of it. It is an awesome one. So let's just get it straight to it.
What's going on, everyone? This is Jason Tran, and I am here to air my Festivus grievances. My grievance is with my gut feelings. This season, my gut told me that there's no way players like Mike Wallace, Rob Kelly, and Martellus Bennett, who had no competition at their positions, could possibly let me down. Doesn't my stupid gut know that it has to execute on these feelings? Doesn't it know that it's making me look like a stupid idiot on my own damn podcast, now found on the FLAFFL House podcast feed? What the... What? Of course Kevin is going to fire me again. No, I know this season will be different, and it was supposed to be. Well, maybe if people didn't read Sal's Sink or Swim article on FLAFFLhouse.com, then maybe I would have stood a chance. No, I lost all that extra money taking Steve and Sean's advice at the Bettor's Corner. Yes, I'm going to have to do draft ad promos for the rest of my life to pay off these debts. Well, maybe you should sign up at playdraft.com/flaffle and use the free entry to win us some money for once. I know I said I would be hashtag doing things this year, but Kevin and Derek kept kicking my ass. What do you want from me? Sorry, guys. I gotta go. My girlfriend's breaking up with me. Thanks, Fantasy Football. Happy Festivus.
I'm pretty sure that rant cost us like $150.
yeah, absolutely. No question about it. Yeah.
No,
good stuff.
Kevin, I agree. That was phenomenal. And when he sent it over, he said, let me know how bad it is so I have time to redo it. And Jason, that was great. You're a talented young guy, and keep up the good work. I loved that entry when I heard it as well.
No, he killed it. I mean, he promoted just about everything about FLAFFL. He promoted the draft for us. It was great.
Yeah, it covered all the bases there. I mean, you definitely know how to play up to the audience. That was us. You did everything you needed to do. That's why Kevin loved it so much.
That's exactly correct, right? It just makes my job a lot easier. But you know what, guys? Just before we get to the next set of Festivus rants, Jason did bring it up, and obviously we need to get paid for this stuff because we're not doing it for free. So we might as well talk about the draft app a little bit. I just want to throw out there, Steve, because I know we've been tracking you most of the time.
Yeah,
I'm winning some money.
Yeah,
and I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I actually asked the question the other day. How long do best balls go? Is it only one more week? Can it please only be one more week? I need them to end now so I can get all these profits that I've raked in so far.
It is one more week, and I can tell you I'm very excited because they pay out so quickly that I know that by Tuesday of next week, anyone who did the best balls over the summer will have their money because that's the way they roll. When you get to Tuesday, boom. You don't have to wait for like Wednesday stack corrections or anything like that. They just pay you out. Boom, it's done. So I will tell you this: I'm a little concerned though because the one of the teams that I'm winning the most money on, Carson Wentz and Carson Palmer were my two quarterbacks. So I got a little cushion, but it might not be enough.
Yeah, not having a quarterback. I've been in those shoes before.
Steve knows all too well, and I was a little nervous. Because it was a 3-team draft that he's in with me, and the guy, he's hung in there, and he was closing the gap. But Aaron Rodgers has once again been removed from the lineup, so I can start counting.
It hasn't stopped me now. It hasn't stopped me yet.
Sweet $27 victory I got on you there, buddy.
All right, we're going to keep this short and sweet. I just want to remind everyone that you can go to playdraft.com/falafel and or you can go to the Playdraft app on iTunes or the Google Play Store and enter promo code falafel. They'll get you a free entry if you deposit $10 or more into the account. They'll get you a free entry into this weekend, so definitely check that out. There's all kinds of formats you can play in. You can do best balls. Next year, they'll be starting early. You can get into head-to-head. You can set up any kind of league size. You can do dream teams. You can do all the expert leagues. You can do anything you want. So get in there, get in the game. We will get right back to Falafel Festivus right now. All right, guys. This is a cool part of the show, right? We've gone through the rants. We've heard a lot of anger, but some people like to take their anger to song version. And the rest of these rants are going to be set to music, which I think is kind of nice. That'll be a nice way to end the show.
I actually think one of them's a cappella.
Yes, that is very true.
Oh boy!
So when I say set to music, I guess more just singing. But yes, let's start off with one that's I don't know that there's musical background to go along with this. It is our good friend Rob Schwartz. Known as Shy Ruxin DFS on Twitter, Shy Ruxin in the Fantasy Life app. He's been a falafel guy from the beginning. He was one of the first extras entered into the league, right? I remember giving on that magical day where we let 4 more in. He was one of the last ones to get in, and it was a lot of fun that day. So he's got a little jingle bell rant going on about his falafel team, in fact.
All right, I am back, and I'm going to give this one a little bit more affliction because Sale gave me a hard time about this last year. I am going to be, again, doing the theme song, and it's only going to be about falafel. So here we go. I got Bell, this year is going to be great. Oh, what fun it is to own the best back in the game. Hey, I got Bell, there's no way my team will suck. Oh no, there goes Meredith, I'm starting to look like a schmuck. Dashing through the games, laughing all the way. I made a trade for Diggs, I keep losing anyway. Boo-hoo-hoo, Bell on my team's great. But Diggs, he just got hurt. What fun a loss, oh no, I suck, and Watson's in the dirt. Oh, I got Bell, it doesn't seem to matter. My team has spiraled out of control. Quick, get me a ladder. I got Bell, it's looking like my end. Relegation is drawing near. Sayonara, my falafel friends. Gosh darn son of a motherfucking piece of Schmidt. Go to hell, you ducking asshole. Fork everyone on my falafel team and fork their moms and grandmas too. I'm done. I'm just mother ducking done. Oh yeah, Merry Christmas.
Whoa. So I'll say this, Rob. You write really well.
That's it? That's all you got?
No, listen, Rob's he's a great guy. He really is a great guy. He's had some tough times in the last couple of years. So the fact that this guy he continues to come in and he's happy as much as he's happy, I'm happy for him. And no, he knows he doesn't sing well. He knows that. That's not a joke. That's not something nobody.
So you've now bashed him 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it's got to become a little tradition.
I feel like we're not going to get a third submission here.
Oh, I can't wait for next year. All right, I can't. 364 days can't pass soon enough.
That's true. That's very true. All right, listen, I'm going to jumble the order here a little bit on Steve, so let's see how well he thinks on his feet. But obviously, Rob Schwartz is one of the guys that was towards the bottom of falafel, and he was worried about relegation this year, as were Steve and I at certain points throughout the year. This next one's a guy who was very, very close to relegation for quite some time. Turns out he has avoided it, but our old friend Poo Poo, yeah, just barely. Our old friend Poo Poo, Brandon DePau, Sal, you're gonna love this. He's gonna rap.
Oh, good God! Who told him this was a good idea?
Hey guys, Brendan DePau here, aka B Poo. From my grievance on this wonderful Festivus, I decided to create what I'm calling the relegation rap, a parody of Ice Cube's No Vaseline. Steve, sorry for the bleeps. Enjoy. God damn, another season that's come and gone. Used to be fun, now it's all said and done. First I thought I had a good draft day. Now relegation is only a few weeks away, looking like I'm donezo. I saw it coming, that's why I'm down low, at the bottom of the standings. While y'all moving straight on to better things. Taking lots of from Falafel House, without any relief in sight. I started off with too much trash. Dropped the wrong player, now he's making Sal's team flash. Fancy guys just ruling. Thinking I had a chance, who am I fooling? My team is just dead to me. I put that under Martin and Mike Gillisley. Dalvin Cook hit IR, so I'm losing. Hey, yo, Kev, stick the podcast and both missed the playoffs, but that's not the end of it. Stevie saw Jamal's ass and went in it quick. Gio got boned when I said it couldn't trade me. But I'm a man, and ain't nobody ripping me. Trying to sell all you for gold. You could try all day, but it's getting very old. Yeah, you know that my team's just blown. It's been done 100 times, and there's only one to go. To the FANASTY, guys, give my team the BOT. Guess I'm really getting straight out of Falafel Main League.
Oh,
well,
Brandon!
Tell you,
Brandon,
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Brandon crushed that. Now, Brandon, if you were that funny when you were on the show, you might still be here. But I'll tell you this. Brandon recorded another episode of the Basement Sports Report with our good friends over there. And when you're done with this episode, you could go check them out over there. And he goes against Zick for Zick's Picks one more time, and he is 3-1 on that show. So maybe he's more impressive than we give him credit for.
I'll tell you what, this is a quote from Sal. That is the best thing Brandon's ever done in his life, ever.
I really did say that. So we obviously we preview these clips before we play them because we have to make sure we maintain our G rating. And yeah, Brandon, I'm proud of you, kid, but don't get used to it.
I liked how, did you notice he spelled fan nasty instead of fantasy?
Wow. No, I would have never expected such a thing from him.
It's pretty impressiff all around. I got to give him credit.
No, he killed it. That was awesome. When he sent it in, he said, "I'm going to take so much crap for this. Blah 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 blah," and he absolutely killed it. So, congrats to you, Brandon. That was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice job, buddy. We appreciate you. This next one though is look, Brandon's rap was great, but for musical stylings, there's really not much better in the fantasy industry than Zach Reed. The guy puts out songs and from time to time, and he just absolutely kills it. And I'm not even gonna preview this one. Let's just get straight to it.
Hey, this is Zach Reed with the Dynasty Dummies podcast, and I'm thankful to be here for the Festivus episode of the Falafel House, but I got a bone to pick with some of these analysts out here who preseason were touting a very specific rookie running back. There were a whole bunch of guys that had pass catching upside and this real ceiling, and I feel like I've been steered wrong because there was Mixon, McCaffrey, and Fournette and Dalvin, Marlon, Kareem Hunt, and Cohen, and Alvin. But do you recall the most overhyped rookie of all? Pirine, the Redskins halfback, has a very portly frame, and if he doesn't fumble, he might even start a game. Drafting another running back would have made you look real smart. It took 4 injuries for Pirine to even start. Then one desperate week 13 to Gruden's dismay. Pirine, with your jersey so tight, you're a bell cow back tonight. Then how the analysts loved him as they shouted out with glee. Pirine's a viable running back until he sucked week 14. Hey, I just want to thank Kevin, Steve, and Sal. You guys do a great show. Thanks for letting me be a part of it. I'll be here all week. Tip your waitress. Try the veal.
Zach is so awesome. If you guys have not tuned into the Dynasty Dummies podcast, you're missing out. He puts up one of these, I don't want to say every week, but he's done quite a few throughout the season. Very funny guy, very talented guy, and they work hard on their podcast. So give them a listen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great podcast. Definitely one you want to check out. And you can't beat that. You can't beat that kind of song. Steve, nothing to add there? No? You didn't like it?
No, I loved it. I actually loved it so much that I'll have to talk about it a little bit more later.
Oh,
sorry.
That'd be helpful.
I'm not trying to help you.
I think we're about ready. Are we about ready to get onto the rants from us guys, or has everybody finished? Or God, here he is.
I'm not going to bitch about a specific player getting hurt or underperforming. That happens all the time. At this point, I've gotten used to it. What I'm going to be a little pissed about are the blindsiding, helmet-punching, chain-ripping, arm-brace, Gronk-smashing players that are so stupid that they do idiotic things out there that ruin my fantasy week. Look, I put you in my starting lineup. You go out there and punch a guy, you're out of the game, out of the stadium, while you're still sitting in my active starting lineup. I don't have the chance to replace you, so get your act together. Why would you punch a helmet, you morons, idiots? punching helmets, getting suspended, getting taken out of games, ruining fantasy teams all over the place. Oh, I feel better. Now that I feel better, I would like to thank everybody for making fantasy football a lot of fun in 2017. I've actually enjoyed it more than I've enjoyed any other season. I'd like to thank that evil Scott Fish for ruining other leagues and making it so that the creative leagues are a lot of fun. And I like the charity, so as Kevin always says, even when he is saying it from a toilet, make sure that you can incorporate charity into them. So thanks for the time, everybody. Enjoy. Quick bonus gripe for all of you that have lost to Matt Price. Come on, can't anybody beat this guy? This is getting ridiculous on Dynasty Game Night. Somebody come on and beat him. Of course, I'm easy to beat. John just gets whipped over and over. Come on, people.
He got a little plug-in for the Dynasty Game Night.
Wow.
Oh, he started. John, enough, John. We had it up for you. Don't start again.
My goodness, man. Jeez. Wow. For the record, it's not a toilet. I'm in the bathtub. Can we just get that straight?
Nah.
Is that better?
No, it works.
Better, right?
It works better if we think that you're sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
Plus, you did say you
that's
were
great.
backed up I think earlier in the show, so I don't know. I don't know if I
Is that
believe
a
you
quote?
anymore.
Are you sure? You sure about that?
I'm gonna
Did I
find
say backed
it.
up?
I'm gonna find it. If anyone listened to the
All
beginning of the show, backed up, let me know.
Just get that out on Twitter and let's Steve
Hey,
know.
did Kevin say
at
backed
what
up
point in the
earlier?
show I said backed up. All right, guys, listen. That was all the rants from all the people that sent them in. Thank you again to everyone that submitted something for their Festivus rant. If any of you are looking to do the feats of strength and would like to pummel Steve, please let me know.
Yeah.
At Wally Central on Twitter, you can hit me up. We'll set it up. We'll make sure that it gets done because it needs to happen.
Yeah, I will lose if it means good money.
Good money. You think we're gonna pay you?
Someone
No.
might.
Seriously though, Sal. We thought we were gonna get Jeremy Rucker to do it.
I will get get punched by Jeremy Ruckert for the show.
He's very
Wow.
busy. He officially signed with Ohio State yesterday, if you haven't seen it on Twitter. And Urban Meyer said, he is probably the best tight end prospect I have ever scouted or seen in my life. So I cannot wait to see this kid get on the scarlet and gray and just play on that
I can't wait
next
for him
level.
to be on next year. Nah?
Yeah,
Right?
It's gonna be a good podcast.
Yeah, that's going to be good, right, Sal? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get on
He
it.
lost his number, didn't he?
Get on
He
it.
lost his number, didn't he?
He deleted you from
Oh,
his
I-
contacts, didn't he?
I have the number. He just doesn't respond.
It sounds more like it. All right, let's get to our rants. I'm going to start off this year, and I'm going to be very quick because this is just a very quick plea more than it is a rant, and I just want to talk to 3 specific NFL players and basically implore them to quit. Really, because I don't want them to play football anymore. For my fantasy sanity, I need Dante Moncrief.
He's going to be a Patriot
and John
next
Brown.
year.
Dante Moncrief, Tyler Lockett, and John Brown all need to stop playing football. I cannot handle it anymore. I keep drafting you. You keep sucking. You keep getting injured. You keep ruining my fantasy seasons. I can't handle it anymore. I need you all to retire. I need you to not play football anymore. I'm sure you can find nice jobs. You probably made good money. You probably have plenty in the bank. I'm sure you're all very well off. Just stop. Just stop playing football. Stop getting injured. Stop ruining my fantasy teams. And just let me go on about my business without drafting you onto my teams. I have dynasty teams that are filled with these guys, and I don't know what to do with them because they suck. They keep getting hurt. They don't produce, and then I'm just ruined. They're ruining my fantasy seasons. I can't handle it anymore. And so I want them to retire. That's it. Is that too much to ask? Just a little bit of retirement from those 3 players.
Have you ever thought that maybe it's you?
Well, that's, Just as a quick side note, I would like anyone that lives in this apartment complex that listens to the podcast, I would like you to know that if you do not pick up your dog's shit, I'm going to throw it at you the next time I see you.
Wow.
Sorry. There's a lot of dog around this place.
I'm pretty sure that you're the one who'll be kicked out of the complex if that happens.
Yeah, you're probably being reported right now for that rant, actually.
Yes.
I'm sure someone is sitting in their bathtub right now listening to everything that you're saying.
It's the guy,
on the
the
other
guy
side
who
of
talks
the
into the
wall.
microphone in his bathtub.
That's a good point, Steve. I wonder while I'm broadcasting from the bathtub, does anyone listen from the bathtub?
No, someone is literally. It's like, hey, it's Thursday night. It's 6:00. Let's go into the bathroom and listen to the podcast live, unfiltered, right now. And this is what they're getting. They're being told to pick up their own dog, and this is what they get. This is awesome.
So technically, you know what? They deserve it then, because technically they're pirating us.
All right, that's true. You should serve them with a notice.
Kevin Cotillo coming to you live and unwiped.
That's awful. That is awful. All right, so you're up.
I meant unfiltered. It came out wrong. Yeah, mine is going to be really short and sweet because I think that we discovered last year that Steve is the king of Festivus rants from us three hosts. So I'll say two things. Number one, somehow I ended up in a standard league this year. Friends had asked me last minute, and I ended it. There's really no reason to play this type of fantasy football. Get some kind of a PPR involved in there, or get at least the first, points for first downs like Scott and other people have introduced us this year. But the non-fractional point scoring and the not totaling up the passing, the rushing, and the receiving yards together is just mind-boggling to me. When I look at some of the scores and I see round numbers with no decimal points, it makes me crazy. We've come so far from way back when fantasy started, and it was still playing like homeless people. Stop it. It's not my dog. I can tell you that much.
No, that's me. Thank you. Yes, that's the dog downstairs in this apartment listening to the podcast. Apparently, my rant pissed him off.
So the last thing. They're all hot and bothered over there at the Cotillo residence. The last thing I'll point out, this is onto Twitter and fantasy Twitter, and I saw Frank and Scott going back and forth in a thread today about people who are paying for followers, and I got one I think that is even worse than that, and we all experienced that this year. We experienced it a lot, but there's a group of guys out there who did this specifically this year, and that's following a ton of people so that you get the return follow, and then going through and then unfollowing all those people so it looks like you have all these followers and you're established in the industry and you're this great name that everybody goes to. Well, if anybody goes there and gets the actual advice, they know the facts. It's just cheesy. It's cheap. If you earn followers, that builds up your credibility, and that, I think, is respectable. Any other way you do it, I think, is not respectable. So that's it. Let's get on to the guy who crushed it last year, and I'm putting a lot of weight on his shoulders this year.
Well, yeah.
Wait. Before we do get to Steve, I gotta say, Sal just seems so much less angry this year.
I know. What's up with that? I don't get it.
I legally can't get into it.
Okay.
Well, it sucks. You need your edge back.
Yeah.
It might come. It might come back. Probably check it around February.
All right,
Will do.
Good. All right, sorry, Steve. Didn't mean to derail you.
Hey, no problem. No problem. And, from last year, I got to say, a lot of the submissions this year, they really stepped their game up. All these guys getting the musical aspect, tuned in. I said I really appreciated Zach Reed's submission because when I heard his, I felt it was very, very similar to mine. I picked a different song, but we've got a very similar style. So, Zach Reed, I'm putting it out there. If you want to do a duet sometime, hit me up. So this is my rant, and yeah, we'll see you on the other side.
Fantasy this season all started with one goal, with a trophy in hand and maybe some cash, but instead I'm getting cold. Fantasy this season is a fairy tale, they say, but when you draft like me, it's a punch in the almost every single day. There must have been some magic in that bald skull cap he wears, for when Sal loses any game, he starts to curse and swear. Oh, fantasy this season was as bad as it could be. My drafts all suck, Mike Evans is a so no title fights for me. OBJ and DJ, Carson Wentz and Watson, those were major blows. Andrew Luck and Rodgers, Dalvin Cook and A-Rob, on the IR they go. Fantasy this season wasn't fun in any way, as Tony says through the tears he sheds, I don't know why I even play. Down to the wire with a bottle in my hand. How can Julio look so good then look so bad? I only had one measly team that didn't seem to suck. But then I lost Antonio Brown, which made me holler. Fantasy this season had to hurry on its way. But as we wave goodbye, Kevin, don't you cry. It's only 8 months till draft day. Merry Christmas, FLAFFL. Happy Festivus. Happy holidays. We wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas, and we will see you all again next season.
Outstanding! This guy knocked it out of the fucking head. Steve, first of all, I didn't realize you were so goddamn talented. You could actually carry a tune. You didn't miss a beat. When you get to the point where you're reading those names, that's not easy to do, man. I'm proud of so many guys on this show tonight. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's just, this is a good time of year. It's when I feel the best because I'm allowed to get all of this off my chest without being condemned in any way. So yeah, I love it.
You know, Steve, I gotta be honest with you. I didn't know you had those kind of pipes. Like we've been listening to Sal sing all year long, and it sucks. And you should be doing it. You should be the one singing.
Well, maybe I will open up a little bit more. Maybe I will blossom in year 3.
Silver bells.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. Listen, that was really good, Steve. Very great job. Very impressed by you and all of the people that submitted everything. This has been a fun episode. This is always one of the favorite times of year for us, where we get to bring in some of our favorite people in the industry and even, just in our leagues to gripe about what pissed them off all season, and they do it in such a spectacular fashion. So we appreciate everyone, and we'll just go ahead and get to some final thoughts from Steve, because I'm guessing, Sal, you don't have much time left in the car.
I got 30 minutes, boys.
All right, well, then I'm going to drag this out quite a bit. If you guys like this episode, you can follow us on Twitter at Falafel House. You could also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. You can also check out falafelhouse.com, where we put a bunch of stuff going on. It has been a fun fantasy football season. We are taking a break from doing our preview show to do this Falafel Festivus episode. And the next time we talk to you, the season's going to be over. So good stuff all year long, and we look forward to another great year.
Hey, if you want to, go back and listen to last year's Festivus episode if you didn't hear it, or if you want to be reminded of some of the great stuff from last year, it's right there in all the feeds. And just click it, download it, and listen. And I want to wish good luck to I am in 4 championships. Really happy about that. The one I want the most, obviously, is the Falafel Championship. I have not won it before. I want to say Steve won it, played in the final the first year. Kevin played in the final last year. I'm in it this year. So shout out to all 3 of us, the members of this podcast. For the 3 years of existence, one of us have been in the final. Good luck to Corey in Falafel. Good luck to dumb cousin Donald, who I'm facing off against in his league. Good luck to Craig Talley, who I'm facing off against in the Willy Wonka League that somehow I end up. And good luck to my good friend Brian, who I am playing in that ridiculous standard league that I ended in, that I backdoored into the championship. So good luck to all you guys. Seriously, if I can't win it, at least I could break your balls after you do.
Oh man, that's good, Steve. It's good, Sal. Congratulations on your 4 championships. I'm assuming by Steve's silence so far this year, he's in none.
Not true. I'm in 2.
He said I thought I was going to say at least 1. Oh, and by the way, none of those are dynasty. So clearly I'm a redraft player.
I'm in 3 championships myself, and looking forward to all of them, and looking forward to the opponents as well. I just want to, we talked about it a little bit, but I just want to again shout out to Scott Fish, fantasycares.net. He's doing a fantasy playoff challenge that he'll be doing. You can go to fantasycares.net to sign up. It all kicks off the next year's giving for Toys for Tots. Obviously, the guy has done great things, enough to incite rage from John Bosch. So get in there and check it out. And for you guys, I just want to say to my co-hosts, great job this year. It's been a lot of fun. Obviously, we'll continue on. We'll be back later in next week, I believe. But thank you to you guys for keeping this fun and making me want to do this every week and every night and every time we get together, because it really is a blast. And I don't, it doesn't kill me that people listen to us from time to time either. But you guys make the show for me, so thank you. And that's it. We'll be back, like I said, sometime next week. Good luck in your championships. And until then, Steve, hit the button.